Good morning, good evening, good night. NFT Live Web3 Network, last show of the week, August 31st. Wrapping up here the month of August. September is figuring to be a great month for NFTs in general. I'm talking NFT art, PFPs, but gaming as well. We got a huge Legends of the Mara update. Had a great Web3 morning spaces over there on X. Battle of the Blue Chips. I was sorely upset at the winner of those Battle of the Blue Chips, but we're going to have ourselves a good day. Thank you for joining us here. We are going to come in with some fire prodigy. I saw that comment. Thank you guys for tuning in early and often as always. I'm excited, man. Gifdead, what's up?
Yo, happy Thirst Trap Thursday. Yeah, we had a great show over there on GM Web 3, battling it out, Battle of the Blue Chips. We did a generative art edition, although some people did point out Opepen, not really technically generative art, like at least Fidenzas and Squiggles are. But we wanted to put some of the top artists and top collections right now against each other and battle it out and see which one would reign supreme. Fidenzas took it. So Squiggles versus Opepen versus Fidenzas. You were, of course, repping Opepen, Q. And the arguments were what they were. People came in strong with their arguments.
Mired in controversy.
A lot of controversy around these battles. Yeah. But Fidenzas took it.
There were people I wasn't let back up on stage. There were people that were making arguments while other people were making arguments, just mired in controversy, man. We need to get a hold of that courtroom.
It tends to go that way. It tends to get heated, but they're a lot of fun. So anyway, shout out to all the homies that came out and participated and made it a great Battle of the Blue Chips. We hadn't done it in a while, so I wasn't sure how it would go, but we had a good time.
All right, so this is going to be the episode for the day. We are going to touch on a lot of breaking news. We got something from Refik, Anadol as well that I want to show up here. Like just as we went live, there was a big announcement. And we also have some big news from Gifdead himself. We've been having a lot of Gifdead related news here. We had some art and craft things going on. We are going to be talking about this timepiece, Gifdead, here in a second, that you are going to be a part of the spaces at 5 p.m. today with a bunch of different people, including Eric Calderon, Snowfro. But right now you get Nifty Q and Gifdead in the dual box, and we're going to be bringing you the latest. We saw meme coin token as well. There's a little bit of going on around captains and all that stuff, but what's up?
Yeah, Jacob over there saying the voting was rigged this morning. Sir, I will not stand for the integrity of our battles being called into question here. But yes, I do get to join an awesome conversation and panel around the new Heart and Craft Jordan Lyle, Snowfro, Eric Calderon project with some amazing people. You know, friend of the show, Ralph will be there. NFT Go will be there. I will be on this. So if you want to join an awesome conversation about that project and get to hear Eric and Jordan talk about this project, come hang out with us on that. It's going to be really awkward when I have to tell Eric that he didn't win the battle this morning and that Fidenzas took it. That's come and see that moment on that space when I let him down, when I let him know that Squiggles just didn't make the cut.
He let us all down with this photo, so let's be honest. The
you may not
sweater photo is becoming a meme.
Sir, you may not like it. All of y'all out there may not like it, but that's peak performance. That's what peak performance looks like.
He looks comfy. There. I'll give him that. Knox is saying, I really enjoy this morning space while cooking the lunch rush. Appreciate you guys digging into all the fun stuff. Never fade Fidenzas. That rolls off the tongue a little better than Never Fade Yuga, but we do have a lot of Yuga updates to get to if you're waiting for that. What? Jacob Gooden saying Biggie and Squiggles was the clear winner. Voting was rigged. Quantum saying he would agree that he shouldn't win that battle. Yeah, he's not going to win any fashion battles. I'll give him that. But to be fair, that's not his lane. It's not his lane. Anyways, GM to y'all.
You just made me think of the Zoolander walk-off. Could you imagine like founders in Web3 having to do a walk-off with their merch?
Oh, the dance battle?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. And also, one other quick, really important announcement of a potential announcement, I guess. Kane Mayfield visited right at the end of GM Web3 and said Speakeasy may actually be a thing again, which, I mean, let's hope, because that was the greatest, most funniest comedic show on all of Twitter Spaces. I hope that's a real thing. I don't know. Maybe he was just teasing us, though. So he could have been trolling.
No, Kane speaks truths, including the fact that you might be known as the bubblegum cowboy here relatively soon.
No.
We'll see. Yo, this is not financial advice. Do not take anything we're saying and use it as a way to invest in different NFTs or what to invest in. So we appreciate y'all here today, and we just want to get that disclaimer so nobody Tom Bill used us. DP and Fury. And Fury, GM. Nice to see you. So I guess I'll just call you Fury. But it's good to see new faces here on the channel. We are covering the NFT and Web3 space every single damn day. And one announcement that I do have to get to up front is going to be this Refik Anadol post that went live just right before we press the old go button here on NFT Live. Dear friends, I'm deeply honored and excited to share this news with you. Machine Hallucinations Sphere, the latest canvas for Refik Anadol's AI-generated art, the new Sphere in Las Vegas. So it looks like Refik Anadol's work is going to be portrayed or displayed on the Las Vegas Sphere. Have you seen videos of the Sphere, by the way?
I think I have like one or two early on. You know, it was like getting a lot of attention. I feel like it was a couple months ago when it was like brand new, but I haven't really spent a lot of time looking at it. I do think it's a really awesome new display. And I'm curious if you had a chance to either have your art like take over some big part of Times Square for a day, or to have it projected on the Sphere for a day, where would you want your art to be? Because I feel like this is sort of like a new Times Square-esque, you know, big display that can get a lot of attention. But if you had to choose one or the other, would you want a big display in Times Square for a day, or would you want this Sphere? Let me know.
I feel like there's two different mediums there. Like if your project is
they're a little bit different,
or is it something like that? Like you're not gonna be able to display. I guess you could display on the Sphere, but it definitely leans itself more towards like Rafik's work and like very motion related graphics. So
no, it's a fair point. The format, if you will, might dictate your choice. So great point. All right, Squashman saying, "Yo, that." Go ahead.
No, I think there might be just a small delay on that side, so I'm not trying to jump in front. But yeah, the Sphere, and then hit Squashman's comment. I'll try to pull up a video of this, folks. By the way, it's actually wild. Like seeing it in, I've never seen it in IRL, but I've seen videos, and it does get a little bit crazy. I've seen like an eyeball on it, but go ahead.
Yeah, and Quantum saying Beeple also has a huge wall, but that he would choose the Sphere over Times Square. Squashman saying the Sphere is fucking huge. Haven't been up to it in person, but I got family in Henderson. I visited a few months ago, and that shit is massive. So that's cool just to know scale-wise. It's truly impressive. Yeah, it looks big.
This is one of the craziest things I think my eyes have ever... If I saw that in person, like that's probably one of the craziest things humans have ever created at that scale.
As far as like digital displays and art displays go, yeah, sorry. Apparently there's like a police chase happening right outside my window. But this has to be one of the largest format, most high-tech art displays ever created by humankind.
That's
crazy. I love the snow globe for this because it's like the shape is perfect.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Every time I see this, I get blown away by it. That is crazy. You could definitely see a lot of different NFT artists getting geared up to be featured on that for sure. And if my artwork was preferred in that medium, I would want it to be on the Sphere instead of maybe like Times Square art building. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, motion graphics is like what it's built for, right? So yeah, pretty heckin' cool. And Refik seems like he's jumping from strength to strength right now, has a lot of momentum. We obviously covered the recent success that he had with, what is it, Winds of Yawanara? I'm probably getting that wrong.
Yawanara.
Yeah, something like that, but a big new project. I don't know if that's revealed yet. I don't know if we should do a quick follow-up, but do we have any other trailers? Look, we're trailer maxis.
Yes.
Y'all already know. So if we got trailers, I feel like we got to hit those up front. It's the most important thing in my day, Q. I got to get some trailers in front of my eyeballs, All
right, I'm getting a poll out here early on in the episode that says Sphere or Times Square. I'm also going to put an other. If you do have an other option, then please let us know there in chat. But I want to start that poll. Would you rather see, like Gifdead is saying, would you rather see your artwork displayed on the Sphere or on something like Times Square, something that's traditionally been known as like the most eyeballs that you're going to get on any physical location? So definitely want to see a little bit of that. We did have a trailer. So real quick, it is a nice green day in NFTs. It does feel like, we were asking the question yesterday, is it the bottom? I think it's a little, for those of us that have been in the industry for a long time, it's a little sus to be saying like, hey, this is it. This isn't a dead cat bounce. This isn't like, this is going to be, on a up and to the right from here. It does feel good. I will say that, like the energy in the space when you're not losing 20% of your net worth in a single week, every single week for about the last 2 months. It is nice. And honestly, to the broader industry as well, in crypto and all those things, like it does feel a little bit like the sentiment is picking up. Floor prices have been picking up over the last week as well. We saw, 20% gains from Bored Ape Yacht Club over the last 7 days. But interestingly enough, too, like we have seen gains maybe on the 1-day chart for NFTs. I would love for Blur to actually implement like 30-day charts, by the way, because it does seem like too little of a time frame. You have green on the 7 day.
They're not trying to
on the 1 day.
They're not trying to encourage zooming out or looking at any sort of extended time frame. That's not what Blur is for. Blur's for farming shit coins and flipping and buying 1 hour and trying to flip 3 hours later. That's what Blur's for. Yes, I live in a war zone. It's called Los Angeles. I thought we were going to get trailers and you went straight to charts. That's fine. I won't sit on that. And you were being generous there, Q. You said only the last 2 months it's felt like this. It's been 8 to 12 months, it feels like, where every single week we were doing the NFT Go bag check almost every day. And it felt like every single day for the last almost year, we've been seeing things trending down. And I don't know. There's something happening. There's some sentiment. Maybe people are calling the bottom. We're not financial advisors, and we're not calling anything other than saying it feels like we might be close. I don't know. We've been saying that for a while though, but it's just great to see some green, and it was definitely tangible when you came in the room. Quantum Variant, a few others came in the room. I feel like I had a little bounce in your step this morning. A little positivity. It was nice.
I felt like death this morning. I think I got like 6 hours of sleep. But yes, the charts do feel and provide you with that energy. Just quickly going over the biggest gainers here. And it's good to see this. Like for folks that are asking like, hey, like, this could be a short-term thing. Like, why are we fixating something that might, change tomorrow? Things that are like 30, 40, 50% up in the market that we just either are in or coming out of, it's good from a psychological point of view too. Because what you look at with a lot of these NFT floor prices over the past 6 to 12 months is the fact that people can't seem to, people can't seem to actually see the light at the end of the tunnel on actually not losing a ton of money when they put their funds into an asset. And to see something like, I think 10KTF was a big winner of this. I think Artifact as well. Clone X was a big winner. I think Clone X probably was the biggest winner of the last week as well, although there wasn't that much information on what was going on with Clone X. So everyone's kind of speculating that whales are dumping the project or buying up the project. And I think a bunch got dumped into bids over the past 30 minutes because it's gone from basically 45% up on the past week to now 23% up here on the the blur charts here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so we just saw a dump before we pressed live. This is on the 7-day chart. You can see that run up was probably the biggest in NFTs. You saw more get accumulated in a very short amount of time, and then another dump. So something's going on with CloneX. Something's going on with Artifact. Not sure how to get my kind of mind around it. I don't think we do have any information, but that's sometimes how it works, man. Other big gainers in the industry right now, it looks like potatoes, captains, for their own reasons, which we'll touch on in just a moment. Milady's is down 6%. So the darling of the bear market is actually down 6% on the 7-day. Bored Ape Yacht Club, Kennel Club, basically the Yuga assets in general, specifically on the Otherside front. I don't think the heavy metals saw much movement in this run up. Azuki is up 6. So just nice to see some green from the space. Winza Yawanawa, the one that you just mentioned from Refik, is up 67% in that time. So rejoice, folks. We do see a little bit of a reprieve. I'm not here, calling any bottoms, but it feels like we've seen support on the user front as well. Like we saw some stabilization. I think we pulled up some charts 2 days ago that showed Ethereum users aren't necessarily increasing on the daily active user front, but they've stabilized over the past month as well.
Somewhere between 5,000 to 10,000 active. It's probably closer to 5,000 actually active traders. That's the size of the actual space. Yeah. I liked that you brought in the sentiment thing, because it's this gets into some of the more like cerebral aspects of the space. But when we're all connected as close as we are and tapped into like X, and everybody like is feeling the same thing from day to day, it's like these swings can be really intense, and you can feel the actual like sentiment and like physiologically and mentally. So it is positive, when people are feeling better, the whole space feels better. It just feels less toxic.
I'm going to get to a poll in just a moment. I would like y'all's take here in chat as well. I'm going to close out that Sphere or Times Square / other poll, and I'm going to add whether you guys think the bear market, bull market, kind of conversation is heating up. Are we kind of reaching that bottom, as we're saying? Again, this could change in 2 days. We know how fast this space moves. Only on Monday, I felt like NFTs were essentially, going to be reaching like way lower with the Tom Bilyeu news. There was, price action that was downwards. And then over the past, I would say 72 hours, we've seen the exact opposite.
The Bilyeu thing is really interesting for a lot of reasons, and we won't go into all of them here. But I think we've seen good news over the last 6 months go either with little to no effect or even having negative effect. Maybe you'll see a quick little pump and then it'll sell off way more. So to have negative, not great news actually have a positive impact on a project, I just think that that's a very interesting sort of shift in what we've been seeing, tied together with the other signals that you've already been talking about, with number of traders is leveled off. The number of people actually selling right now has kind of bottomed out. Liquidity seems to be what it is. So all of these reasons, and then what we're seeing with the positive green right now in the market, it does make me feel like maybe we did hit a bottom. And I'm not saying that we're going to it's going to be up from here. I think you'll see some starts and stops. I think you'll see maybe a quick CloneX pump and then it'll dump again. But I find it hard to believe that there's going to be much more bottom. I don't know how much lower things will go from here. Maybe a little bit. I'm not a financial advisor, but my personal sentiment is I feel like maybe we did kind of overall in the market hit a bottom and the trends are shifting. And now we'll start to see some kind of sputters, some starts and stops before things hopefully over the next couple of months really start to heat back up.
It's a really interesting point that you make with Tom Bilyeu, essentially the news that NFTs might all be securities. Not all of them, but a majority might come under the fire of the SEC. I think that the positive news on other fronts with the SEC, is good, right? Like we saw. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we saw the SEC
the
and
macros
the
are
ETF
shifting.
news. I think
Yeah.
that stifled a little bit of what would have been some more negative sentiment. It would have, I think, been in the news way more. But I think your point is well taken, because the diamond hands are here. Like, that's how I look at it, is for the most part, you didn't see this huge 40% dump, because the rest of the people that are holding at this point, when you see doodles, moonbirds, every like large, what would be called a macro cap, or like a big major cap project, those are just holders now. You don't see a lot of downward movement on the short term, because they're holding, they're here.
You're right. And when you only get down, like all of the grifters, most of the flippers, most of them have already lost their asses. The liquidity's left. It's all gone. And at a certain point, you get down to just the bare minimum, and that's the bottom. So it seems like with the number of daily active users bottoming out and the liquidity being as low as it is, it's like there's just not that much lower to go. You know, that most of the people, to your point, are diamond handing at this point. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, the blue chip index is down probably like 95% from its peak. You know what I mean? Like we're down like 95% from where we were. There's literally just not that much lower that the space can go. So like yes, there it could still go lower. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying you get to max pain, you get to coping, you get to everybody fleeing and being scared, and then where do you go? Eventually shit turns around. And obviously the macros, like we've been saying, have to be leading that. The Bitcoin and Ethereum have to lead that. And it does seem like we're starting to see some positive momentum there. So yeah, quantum variance saying the good feeling is temporary, but there is another shoe to drop before we start the real run. Probably true.
Fury is saying, "Wow, 95% down." That's where we're at, and I don't necessarily think that on the price front we can't see even 50% down from here. Like I was preparing myself for that, and I do think that a lot of other folks in the industry at this point, if you're left holding, that's what you were prepared to do. And I think that there's a lot of support from these long-term holders that haven't capitulated at this point after the last 12 months. So maybe not a bottom here on the price front in the short term, but we do see a bottoming of like sentiment, in my opinion. Like there's just everybody here is just battle hardened. We're ready to go. And we do see a big month in September for a lot of things happening. We're going to continue to get ETF news. A lot of gaming projects are either launching or have launched and are now kind of in motion in September. So it could be, and I'm kind of framing it this way, September will be the biggest month in Web3 gaming history. Up to this point, we have not seen. Go ahead.
Probably September, October, November, right? This holiday season is going to be massive. It will be. And that's how most gaming and most products work in general, but especially the gaming companies, they're all vying for that holiday big blockbuster or to get their stuff out ahead of the holidays to take advantage of everybody's money and free time and capital. And yeah, so it's exciting. I'm very excited. And I do think Web3 gaming is going to be picking up from here, you know, and be a big story over the next year.
Yeah, in part of that, much to Marty McFly's chagrin, is going to be about Yuga Labs and the things that they have going on in September. We see a Forge raid. We see Legends of the Morrow, which we're about to get ready and set to play another trailer, although not a lot of info in typical Bored Ape fashion. And then we do see Rec League come out. I'm extremely bullish on Parallel. I could not say this more clearly, and this is not financial advice by any means. I'm trying to figure out the best way to get exposure to Parallel and continue to make my way into that ecosystem. So there's Prime Token, which is definitely seen a run up. Like this is their kind of ecosystem token prime echelon that you need to function in the game. You could buy it. You need it to buy cards. So you don't buy it. Some are sold in ETH on secondary, but a lot of them actually are bought in prime tokens. There's a lot of other use cases for prime as well, staking and things like this. I'm extremely bullish on what they've been put together. The guy that we showed yesterday that bought the Opepin Edition 1,
for two
two
squigs.
Chromie Squiggles was actually, I think, either won or bought a major parallel card. And I think we're in that meta now, or going to be running into that meta where these could potentially be looked at like Charizard cards, or these very famous trading card IP. I think parallel will have that effect long term based on what they're building now.
That's huge, man. You are deeper into the Web3 gaming than a lot of people. So for you to be feeling that strong about it is great news. It makes me much more bullish, that you feel so strongly about it, having gotten your beak wet, been playing with it, getting into the game. Yeah, man, look, we know that digital assets in games that have utility in games have potential. Not just the collectible aspect like the Pokemon stuff, but if they actually have utility too. We've seen those Call of Duty skins going for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like we know where it goes eventually. It's just which projects, which communities, and when, So
yeah,
cool.
Extremely smooth game. I think the characters, the lore that's being built there, it's been, to be fair, they've been building for years. Like they're just seeing a lot of interest because the trading card game has officially kind of quote unquote rolled out with their on-chain summer edition there. But the lore, the characters, it's all super well thought out. And I think it's because they've been building for 2 years. People just don't, I think, understand that. They look at it now with the trading card game launch. They're like, oh, this is a new game. It's like, no, this is kind of like Axie Infinity territory when it comes to how long they've been building. So super excited for that. We do want to get into this kind of this. I was going to say trailer. It's like a hype piece. We got
teaser.
It's like a 5-second teaser. So I do want to get into that because it did have a positive impact on the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the Otherside assets, all of these different things related to Yuga saw an increase with the broader market because we did finally receive a little bit of an update, and that is that Legends of the Mara is coming in September. So I'm going to play this trailer real quick. See you on the other side. All right, that's it.
Oh, wait. It's almost it. There you go.
Yeah.
So, very short teaser. Yeah, but it looks awesome. Looks really cool.
They've been teasing out the Legends of the Mara for a long time and building out different things to show. So I don't think the community was like, what's going on here? This is basically an announcement of the launch in closed beta. That's what's happening here. So we did happen to see something that happened near you, Gifdead, was that we had community members actually get together. I don't know the exact location. I'm not a Los Angelino, so I wouldn't know. But they actually had community members come out and try Legends of the Mara. So we've already seen people get their hands on the game. They had like screenshots and videos of the experience, and now it's going to be rolled out to the major.
I saw. Is that okay? I saw when they got some people together. I thought they were just playing the other side, though. I didn't realize they were also playing Legends of the Mara.
So Legends of the Mara and the other side are increasingly becoming like very connected. So
yeah,
that's essentially what's happening here. So I'll try to find the I got the test group recap here. Maybe we can watch another trailer because that didn't wet our beak enough. So you're seeing gameplay there, and it was Jeff Jag was there?
No, Jeff Nicholas was there.
Okay, got it. So you mentioned like being confused about the other side and the Legends of Mara crossover. I'm looking to make sure that, and I wanted to find potentially any branding along the Legends of the Mara front, but I believe these are going to be intricately. So you see it there. You barely get a look there at the Mara kind of branding, and I think this is what we're going to be doing come September. They didn't give an actual date, but they are basically saying Legends of the Mara coming in September, and I believe a lot of what's happening here is going to be what you're seeing on the screen.
Again, I wish I was there. It looks so fun. I loved seeing the like awkward nerds at the like slowly like drinking their drink when the camera turns on them. Like, oh god, here it comes. Like, I always love that. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it other than like I want to learn more. I need to get. I know we had the announcements on the Heavy Metal Forge that the seasons were shifting and like season 4 is going to be 5 weeks. I assume that that's to figure it out and to get more people transferring over and make sure that they can get in and figure out how this, new phase works, because I'm sure they are calibrating as they go and realizing that the rate that this game moves, it's not easy to bring people along. You know what I mean? It's like it moves kind of slow. Getting everybody to kind of convert or move into this next phase is probably going to be a little bit of a lift. So I assume that's why they extended season 4 to be 5 weeks.
So squarely in the middle of kind of a mini Yuga show here, I think the reason why they shouldn't be that upset, and I don't think they're caring that much about the sentiment with Heavy Metal Forge. I think you will see some voting changes. There's been some comments here and there about that. They have so much else going on. And I think a Raving Ape gave a great little breakdown of what you're going to see in September, essentially. So Forge Season 3 ends today, actually. 10KTF ends today. Forge Rift opens in 8 days. Ape staking rewards reduced in 11 days. Season 4 ends in 22 days. Legends of the Mara ends in 23 days. So you see all of this other stuff going on.
I don't think I'm ready to get into the Rift or whatever. I think I fucked up on my forges on my 2.
You have 1 week. So I believe him saying that the Rift opens here next week, essentially this time, you have a week to probably get yourself ready.
Okay. So, all right. I'll be forging and scooping.
Otherside end up like Blankos in a year's time, yes or no? That's a really that's kind of a low-hanging fruit question. It's kind of a softball. Like there's no I don't think comparison.
Wait, did you call it mid-curving it? Yo, are you saying Prodigy's mid-curving it right now, bro?
I don't think that's the best use case for mid-curving it, because I think like the mid-curve would probably say there's no comparison because of the amount of users that each has. But you might have the people that are in the know be like, we're still not there yet on the gaming front. Man, he's so... Okay, I want to push back a lot here. Kind of looks like another dead game. We have seen like the open world going to be dead and Blankos. Listen, we've already been in the Rift multiple times and had like thousands and thousands of players. Blankos never accomplished that even once, not even close to that. So I just push back a little bit against that.
The technology, the infrastructure, the utility, the culture, the art, so much of it is very different. So I do think it's not the same thing. And what I would say also is that we know that open world game experiences can be massively successful because you just look at Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft and Grand Theft Auto and all the examples that exist. So it's like somebody is going to figure it out. I think we both believe that if anybody's going to figure out how to actually create a Web3 open world metaverse, it's going to be Yuga. So is there a chance? Of course there's a chance that it fails or that it doesn't get the traction and the DAUs. That's the risk. It's incredibly hard. It is so hard to launch a successful video game. This is one of the hardest things you can possibly do. Even publishers with hundreds of millions of dollars that they sink into a single IP that they develop over years, more often than not, those games fail within a year or two. So yes, it's a chance, but I think somebody's going to figure it out. And I think both of us, for a lot of reasons that we just listed, believe Otherside has the greatest opportunity to be the first legitimate, adopted, meaningful Web3 open world metaverse experience.
Yeah, DP's asking why would it be Yuga though? Fury's mentioning your point. Getting a good game going in Web3 is very hard. I feel a card collectible game will do best compared to any 3D stuff. Users will also have to acquire hardware for a good 3D open world experience. All of that is on point. I do think that the open world experience that you could have on your phone now is a little bit more built out than we've seen maybe even like 5 years ago. So maybe that's the only thing I'd push back on. But Fury, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. The one piece that I've harped on multiple times, just having experienced sandboxes run up. I've mentioned sandbox multiple times talking about the other side because it wasn't until I sat down with Baron von Hustle from the other space that it really clicked for me that the other side is going to be a medium for other communities to live in as well. That's where I feel the real power of what they're building is actually going to come in because they already have this really, really strong core community in Bored Ape Yacht Club. But the ability to add punks, the ability to add me bits, the ability to add World of Women, the ability to add different projects that can jump into the other side in that IP is going to be, in my opinion, the best thing for the other side that it has going on. Because again, Blankos was Blankos. There wasn't any other communities or IP that was added. You were a
Interoperability.
Blankos. That's interoperability of IP. That's what's happening here. You already saw it. Like, don't think other side is like doing anything like revolutionary here. What they're doing is actually adding not voxelized characters. They have more money than the Sandbox, although Sandbox did raise a ton. You just look at that Sandbox model and go back and see the amount of communities that we're building there and showing off trailers, and that is the core of what the other side would be. It's not interoperability on chain. That's the okay. I might
it
be
is
too far down a rabbit hole.
Well, okay, interoperability is just a word that usually is used a certain way within the space, like making it seamless between protocols and bridging and different applications that interact together. I do think that they are working on making this interoperable in that regard as much as possible. ApeCoin is already showing that it can be integrated in all different kinds of things. They have more interoperable infrastructure than most of these other open worlds. Other than maybe On Cyber, I think there's a good case there. Except I don't know that On Cyber is an open world at all. Like that's more of these sort of discrete, tailored rooms or experiences that are very contained that all interlink and I do think can be interoperable. But interoperability of IP, the ability to integrate different types of applications and IP into it, that is a form of interoperability, even if it's not what most people use because they're usually talking on the protocol level. So yes, this is going to be largely interoperable and provide different opportunities to way more people than I think a lot of people think. You were mentioning Sandbox and that model of bringing different communities and projects into it in different ways, but I think that they're going to have a lot more functionality there than Sandbox does, not just to mention the graphics being way fucking improved and the ability, like just the technology itself on a fundamental layer, the ability to have thousands of people within a single instantiation. You can't just replicate that in another game. And that's so key. So like you talk about Blankos and Sandbox and is it just going to be like the others? On its face, no, it's not, just because you can all go in there and feel like there's more people in there. One of the biggest fucking problems and why the metaverse feels so dead is that the tech cannot support the experience that you want.
Personal anecdote here, we were actually getting a grant from Sandbox because they had like $20,000 grants that you could get in Sand Token. Me and Crypto Buffalo were trying to build at the time Lad City in the Sandbox. One of the main things that we touched on with them is like, we don't want this to be a game. We want this to be a social experience. We want to go in and host shows in the Sandbox and do all this stuff.
But that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, they were basically like, we can only support 25 people. And so it's like dead on arrival. You know what I mean? And so the issue that I think we will see into DP's, I think what DP is getting at is that I don't think we're at a point now where they can live as fully immersive environments 24/7. I think Otherside would be the one to test this theory out, but the idea that there's going to be people all over this other side all the time and not some like dead zone areas, But if they can figure out how to, get a lot of people 24/7 at different times as all that stuff into one little town, I think that will help make this situation feel a little bit more real. Because what people see, again, you go into Decentraland, there's nobody there. Sandbox didn't even allow multiple people in that. So that's where a lot of the pushback comes through.
Yeah, and it's a great point about the fun has to be there too. Like people care less about the tech, except that you can't have fun if you feel lonely in a big open world with nothing happening. So like the social aspect of the metaverse has to be there. And to your point, like the whole concept of an open world metaverse or a metaverse like Sandbox, when they don't even have the actual technology to support more than 25 people in an instance, is a joke. It's actually a broken idea. The concept is broken because
it's
imagine
you're
else. Maybe, yeah, some games, but just imagine like that you're trying to host an event and you've got 50 people that RSVP to your event. You now have to break that into two separate experiences. It's just like literally broken, the idea of being able to host any sort of metaverse event on most of these platforms.
Prodigy's coming through with what I think is the traditional gamer. It almost sounds like too ridiculous to call gamers traditional gamers. Like we have them on some type of pedestal.
Are we talking about arcade? We're talking about
yeah. Us as gamers don't give a f about what chain or how it moves in the universe. We literally just want a good, playable, enjoyable game that has people online when you get on to play after work. Jacob is also saying when a game launches that doesn't require me to send thousands of dollars to play, I'll jump in. I'll answer Jacob's question first. Parallel as well as Rec League are live now. Parallel costs about $80 for a full starter pack to start the game. Rec League, I don't know what the boxes are going for at this point, but I think they're around 100 something bucks, right?
What is 0.04? I don't even know how much that is. It's not that much.
Let me check real quick.
I'll go. Okay. Yeah, I got my Majestic box for like 0.04, 0.05.
Yeah, $80. So we got a little bit of an entry price here, which is funny because $80 is usually an entry price for one, like some of the better.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting point, right? Is that it kind of all just ends up converging to sort of like a accepted standard in a way.
So yeah, I think you're touching on something important there. We're having two separate conversations. We're getting questions about why this will be different than the previous Web3 games. And we're also talking about how do we get more adoption just from regular gamers. Those are two separate combos. Why it's going to be different from other Web2 games is because they already have 5,000, 10,000 folks that have been seen to go into this game at a single point and be interested in that. Also, you have different communities to the point that I just made. Sandbox innovated on it. You just put that into a 3D environment, and that's what they're going to try to do. That's another reason. Blankos didn't try to do that. None of these other open world games have tried to do that. You instantly have access to other communities that are interested in this stuff. The other question about making a good game, fuck yeah, it's definitely important. That's why we are talking about Rec League. That's why we're talking about Parallel. I think those are two games that defy the mold of what we've seen, which is just mid games that have okay tokenomics that try to bring people in.
Yeah, this is obviously a lot to this convo. We're going heavy on Web3 gaming today, which is cool. It's going to be a big part of the conversation moving forward. This is, I think, just the beginning of a whole wave, and again, there will be some people that figure out how to make millions of dollars off of Web3 gaming over the next year or two. There's going to be this wave, and so not financial advice. I'm not great, honestly, at like figuring out the metas fast enough and then putting, grinding to like usually make the most out of these things. But I'm still going to be playing and trying to get in and enjoying it, as well as hopefully, who knows, maybe I'll get some rare traits or win some cool things or battle and earn some tokens, or I don't know. But either way, this is going to change a lot of things. Like the gaming industry is so big. It's so big, man. And like bigger than all other entertainment verticals combined, right?
Yep.
So it's hard to overestimate the potential for this technology. And who knows again what Amazon's going to be doing with Twitch. We'll see.
I'm going to share this post here to round out the conversation. I've had a couple different experiences that have shaped the way that that have just basically blown me away with how innovative they are. World of Warcraft was one of them. When I first hopped into World of Warcraft after having played the Warcraft IP for so long, blew me away. The immersiveness of getting in there was so sticky, and you see it still to this day. I was playing World of Warcraft in 04. It's almost 20 years gone, and we still have folks in World of Warcraft. The other one was CryptoKitties. CryptoKitties and the idea of digital ownership was definitely one of those. And both of those things combined, in my opinion, for those reasons, was the first trip for me. When I jumped into the first trip with 5,000 other folks, and DP saying 5 to 10,000 speculators, not gamers, those people were playing a game at that point. They were gamers. they did what they needed to get into the game. All of those aren't hardcore gamers. I'm playing games every night. Those people probably aren't. But the idea that you had 5,000 people in a single instance playing that fucking game was mind blowing to me.
I think it was almost 8,000 on the second trip. The question of like the hardware is interesting too, and mobile is so key to getting like an open world metaverse that's, I think, even more accessible and widely used more consistently. So I don't know how the other side is going to be able to support mobile yet, and that's definitely a big question mark. But I will say, I did the second trip on my MacBook. Like I wasn't running some big gaming PC. I just ran it on my laptop, and it ran great. Like I had an excellent experience. So you definitely don't need to have some super powered gaming PC that most people aren't going to have. I can tell you that much. You can definitely run it successfully and have a great experience on a reasonable laptop.
Love that. Kamikaze saying the first trip was fun. Prodigy saying I was playing WoW 2 weeks ago. I'm going to share this comment here from Justin as well, just to wrap up this conversation on the other side. Again, commenting that this is going to be a big month. September is going to be a big month, not only for Yuga, but for a majority of some other, or not a majority, but a good amount of other Web3 gaming projects. I think Speculator Art, or as he's known amongst the NFT folks, Kix, is launching a 10K project, or I'm sorry, a $10,000 tournament for a project that he is launching. I'm super excited to get that to y'all as well. I'm going to be streaming that for sure, trying to win 10 G's playing his new game. Super interested in Midnight Heist. First off, Otherside Meta launches in September. Yes, we already covered that. Legends of the Mar Early Access will expand Otherside using Unity. Voyagers will be able to play and provide feedback while we keep building. Core gameplay loops, hatching vessels, gathering sediment, defending the other side is important. And the last piece I wanted to get for this, just to get this, this chapter of Legend of the Mar will evolve over the coming months, and more capabilities will be uncovered as the full launch nears. But for now, get ready to hatch vessels, gather sediment, deed, and defend other side. So again, here's the tie-in gift that you were looking for. Otherside is very intimately involved in what Legends of the Mara is. Think about it almost like the first expansion. Like you see World of Warcraft has multiple extensions. We saw Wrath of the Lich King. We saw Burning Crusade. We saw Warlords of Draenor. Like this is an expansion you can almost think of, the first that is coming to the Otherside game.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting to see how this all comes together. Still holding on to one of my other deeds, and the vessels and all that stuff. DP out here roasting you a bit, saying I'm going to keep giving counterpoints because Q thinks he's the Web3 gaming lawyer for all these BS deployments, and I don't like it. So yeah, we appreciate the counterpoints. We're obviously both bullish. We try and be balanced and honest about the risks and potential, but Prodigy backing up Q here, saying I think he's just hyped and ready for something good to finally come, as am I. Looking for that those first actually sticky Web3 games here. Look, the people that find them, that get into them and do well on them are gonna fucking win. like actually win. So there's a reason why we're excited whenever something legit starts to come down the pipe or look or shape up to be legitimate.
I think a lot of people in Web3 LARP as gamers. Like I really do. I think a lot of people think that they're gamers, and the majority of us that play games on a daily basis, like spend hours. I put 10,000 hours plus in League of Legends. Like I've grinded WoW. I've done all these things, and I've been in the Web3 space since CryptoKitties. And in 2017, when the first thing I was thinking about was implementation of the kitties in some type of game. And so, yeah, I can sit up here and talk about it all I want, and you can sit here and have counterpoints. I just wonder what you have done in the Web3 gaming space, or games that you play on a daily basis, or games that you jump in at the first mint or something like that. Me and Prodigy were in Blankos when it first fucking launched. And to y'all's point, everything has not been the best out of these games. Axie Infinity, playing Axie Infinity the first time, I didn't like it. And that's just another letdown, to be let down there. Blankos failed. So yes, there's a ton of failures, which is why we're so excited about these launches like Parallel. And I would just want to show off some things from Parallel here in a moment, and then we'll move on. But we are heavy into a Web3 episode here on NFT Live.
You mean gaming? Web3 gaming? I'm excited to see more about Parallel. You should definitely pull that up while I go pee, because I got to pee here in a second. But yeah, this chat is getting lit. We appreciate y'all chiming in on this interesting conversation. Are you feeling flamed, Q?
No, I know. I feel great. This is one area of the industry.
Listen, Q's about to get into it with DP, so I'm going to exit the chat and let y'all handle this yourselves.
I find, so when I have Biggie Poppins and Gifdead on the network, I actually feel, when we talk about art and we talk about music and all these things that I'm not a expert in, or just feel like I am, I feel out of my depth, and I feel like I'm getting schooled in a good way multiple episodes, which is why I said we were on an art kick for the last 72 hours, because those conversations yesterday and the day before were awesome. Like speculating on art, Sam Spratt's canvas, and the ability to place, comments in there. Web3 gaming is something I'm an expert in. Like, is something that I've been doing for a long time, and talk with multiple founders and all of these different things. So yeah, I'm going to push back. I don't see a reason not to.
Nifty Q, the Web3 gaming expert. I think we just found your new nickname, along with Bubblegum Cowboy. That one's going to stick. I swear it. But no, you're right. And I also want to give you props to that, because I know, like, to your point about feeling out of depth, like Web3 game, like I've been a gamer my whole life. And actually, like you were over here saying you put 10,000 hours into World of Warcraft, which is actually 412 total. League of Legends. Did you really? Because that's 412 days of your life, like actually full days, 412 days over a year. Because I was going to say, dude, you don't want to look at the amount of hours I've put into Rocket League, because I play that pretty much every day. And I've put about a month and a half of my life, like full on, like 45 days playing that game so far. But when it comes to like a lot of these other, games and Web3 gaming, I'm still learning a lot. So I'm out of my depth sometimes. And I try and learn. But with the art stuff, I want to give you props, because you've been taking that on and wanting to learn, and like getting even more. I feel like you're getting more and more into the art convos and participating in awesome ways. I just think it's cool. And we should all be like that. We should all be like Nifty Q, is what I'm trying to say. So I'll be like this, man. Be lifelong learners. Join the denizens from Zen Academy and be a lifelong learner like Nifty Q. All right, I'm gonna go pee.
The amount of time, I will say, Kamikaze is saying you need to get paid for that amount of time. There is an aspect of this burgeoning Web3 space that runs on that narrative, right? You could own the things that you're putting your time into. So there is a narrative. I will say that I spent a ton of my life gaming. I see that a lot of you have. I've been gaming since 92. I've been gaming since 84. Gaming actually brought me into this industry. So in my opinion, it's paid that and more some to me, because the ability to play these games on it, throughout my entire life, kept me open to the idea of digital ownership. So I think it's paid for its time and more. And I don't know if I would be in the space without gaming. So I do want to quickly share why I'm pretty bullish here on Parallel. I've experienced the rank queue. I've experienced the rookie queue. Did extremely well in the rookie queue, getting my ass handed to me in the ranked queue. I need to get better games, or I'm sorry, better cards to play the game. I'm planning on streaming this game possibly tomorrow, so that you guys can get a first look. But I wanted to get my feet under me, right, for the majority of the first part of me experiencing the game. Here's a couple different reasons why I'm bullish on this game. I mentioned this Will Matic piece, and the reason I bring this up, this is a collector that sold 2 swiggles for 1 Pepin. Marty, eat your heart out. But him collecting the essentially the parallel cards, right, as collector's items is extremely important, because we haven't seen this medium play out. Gods Unchained a little bit, but it never really got mass adoption. But the artwork can be seen in these trading cards, and people can collect them like you see art being collected, and that will only push the game further. You can even see OpenSea, is another. I wouldn't say OpenSea is a reason why I'm bullish, but the fact that they're creating tailor-made tools for Parallel on OpenSea Pro is, I think, gives you an indication of where Parallel is. They have an extremely active Discord that I'm in on the nightly, trying to figure out different decks and trying to pick out the buildup of Earthen or Cathari decks and all these different things. So I'm bullish on it for a multitude of reasons, but I think the OpenSea piece there gives you, I think, a indication of just how far along Parallel is in kind of getting the wider adoption. I mean, dude, that's not a small thing for OpenSea to create a tool for specifically. It's not for Gods Unchained and Parallel. It's literally just for Parallel. So
well, and they also were. They also were one of the first projects to launch on base, which is a big deal. They're obviously getting platform and protocol support, which is huge. Can we see gameplay? I still really haven't seen gameplay. I want to know what this looks like, because I haven't played it yet. So if there's any gameplay we can show, I'd like to see it. But yeah, you're getting me more and more interested, and I want to get in. I'm sure I'll get the starter pack someday. But you're saying it's around $80. Is that what you're saying?
I'm cautious. I'm cautious to turn on the Parallel app. I'll try to show gameplay via my browser here, just to get you guys.
I'm just looking for a video. I'm just looking for any, you don't have to play it live. Yeah, I'll probably suck up bandwidth, but I'm just looking for any kind of video.
Let's see if I can at least pull up the dashboard. I don't want to play it live, but I'll show you a quick dashboard look. If you got, I know a lot of the chat is being lit up as well right now. We have, of course, a lot of gamers in our community. There's a bit heavy crossover with people in crypto and gaming, man. And I think for a lot of the same reasons that I mentioned about getting exposed to digital assets, getting exposed to a digital economy, those things carry over to understanding crypto.
I think there definitely is, and more interestingly to me is the fact that everybody's becoming a gamer, just like we're all becoming art collectors. Because especially with mobile games, yes, I understand there's a very, very big difference between a mobile gamer and a hardcore PC gamer. These are tremendously different levels or kinds of gamers. But I do feel like over the last 5 to 10 years, as everybody's gotten their hands on smartphones and iPads and different types of things, almost everybody can call themselves some kind of gamer now. Even if you play Words with Friends, you know what I mean? It's everybody is playing games using digital devices and electronic devices now. And so especially in crypto, the vast majority of people are some kind of gamer, I think. Yes, I'm sure there are a few people that don't play any games or are just not really gamers, or literally they only play Words with Friends. But I bet you the vast majority of people that are really into PFPs, NFTs, collecting or buying and selling crypto or trading, I bet most of them play some kind of games.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, I'm going to try to get this shared really quick on my screen here as well for y'all. So I'm going to show you quickly the layout. If it's really bad quality, let me know, GIF, and I can just save this for another day. But this is essentially the dashboard.
Looks good.
Yeah, you have a play section. So again, rookie queue. These were all 0.5. You complete the different rookie queues, and you get to get different items, right? So I claimed all of these different cards. A lot of it, and I will say, especially with trading cards, I think the games can seem overwhelming, right? Because you have 5 different factions here, all with different play styles. They all feel really fresh, by the way. Like Ogden Core, for example, is definitely one of my favorites. It's more of a I don't want to call it a control deck, but you're able to upgrade your units and basically have your passive ability of your main champion put other units onto the field for you. So I'm getting deep into the weeds there, but you have Earthen, which is more kind of on the druid perspective of upgrading units and healing and all those things. Cathari is the like preeminent control
So wait,
deck
so
where
these are
you're like
different.
spawning.
These are different sort of upgrade preset tracks that you can build into, like your characters.
Think about
Is that
this.
what I'm getting?
If you have played Magic the Gathering, have heard it, you had swamp decks, you had forest decks, you had water decks. These are essentially that, right? Ogden Core, Earthen,
Okay.
Cathari, Markolian, and Shroud are all
So this is
different
more
types of decks.
Is it so? But the goal here, obviously, you're battling. I understand this is like a trading card battle type game. The goal is to kind of have a deck that has a mix of different characters, monsters, powers at the end of it that you take into these battles
So
strategically.
apparitions, I believe, are the name for the general characters, and then what? So you'll basically have a mix of like you wouldn't mix, and I don't believe you even can. You wouldn't mix an Earthen with a Shroud card in a deck. Like you could do that in League of not League of Legends, Magic the Gathering because it was physical cards. Like you could do whatever you wanted, but people would say, "Oh, I have a fire and a swamp deck," and you
Got it.
technically can't do that here. You have 5 different factions, and but you also have apparitions. So you could see, like, let me jump into an Earth and start a deck really quick for y'all. So you can see the card price there at the top, at least energy to play it. So like as we go down, it's like the bigger and stronger cards. But you can see the green here are specifically Earthen. So like you can see the Earthen cards here, and then the apparitions are things that can be across all decks. Right? They don't have any
Okay.
specific.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of both, and you have powerful cards that get played like any trading card game meta.
So you match your apparitions with a specific faction in a loadout.
Yes, you can this is a single deck that has apparitions and earthens.
Right. So, but you could go apparitions and Alber, whatever, apparitions
Yeah,
and
Ogden Core.
Shroud,
Yep. So here's
apparitions. So yeah. So you
yep.
load
So
out with you choose a faction and apparitions, and that's your loadout or your
yes,
pack,
exactly.
your deck. Okay.
So exactly, and for y'all at home, here's another reason why I'm so bullish on this. I'm gonna try to pull up. I'm gonna get out of this really quick and give that this is along the lines again of that Will Maddock who just collected the OPEP and won. This is a really cool aspect of the trading card game because what you have, you saw those cards right in the deck, but none of them were NFTs. But the first editions and the special editions are. So that OpenSea piece that I touched on, at each card that you saw there has about 100 to 150 or even more like special editions, and they have different effects that if somebody you played against in a game would play against you, you can see that it's like hollow, or you can see that it has an animation, and these are collected.
But does it have any sort of impact on the gameplay, or is it purely cosmetic?
Think about a holographic Charizard. It doesn't have any extra thing that goes towards the game. It's
so you can just play it.
Item.
You can play it in a normal game, but the specific version of that card is just collectible by nature. It's not that it changes the powers when you play it in a game. If you were to play it in a game.
Exactly. Okay. Yes, you're right, and I hate that I'm on OpenSea right now, but we just showed you that they did allow or did make a specific TCG tool. So I was messing around with it last night, and I want to show you GIF, for example. Okay, so if I go to traits here and I go by, and again, a lot of this is you need to get
They
used to it. It's almost like a
basically
language.
they basically created a custom marketplace built into OpenSea. That's what this is, right?
Yes.
It's a custom parallel marketplace that they built and integrated directly into OpenSea. So that, yeah, I don't think we've really seen that. Or
no,
I assume that they're gonna try and do this with other games too. This is probably like a beta for like, or like a format that they can roll out for games on OpenSea, which is, that's like a new product.
Not done this. They have not done this for Gods Unchained.
For
Like
any,
that's the thing.
okay.
This is, you guys are kind of getting my vibe of why I'm bullish on Parallel, and there's multiple different reasons. And I don't want to look. I think this is going to be it after this Parallel thing. We can touch on some brief stuff, but I don't want to be here too long. But GIF, I'll give you one example. Okay, so Steward of the Garden is the probably most played Earthen card. It's not necessarily like overpowered, but you can play it on turn 1, which makes it probably the most popular card in Earthen. So I'm going to search Steward of the Garden here. And when I do that, you can see that there's multiple different pieces here. So don't get too confused. Again, it's like a language. You got to get more comfortable with it. The most popular, or two most popular, one is a concept card. So you can see this concept card is being listed for $83,000.
Wow.
It's probably not. Go ahead.
Well, so it looks like that's just sort of like the model, the blueprint of the character, right?
Yes.
And that's this idea of a concept. It's like, hey, this was the concept that we developed, and then we said that looks cool. Let's move it into, you know, final production or whatever. So that's an interesting move, and actually a really smart way to not have to do additional work to create unique different editions. They're basically just like going through the files of the process and saying, yep, like, hey, we have the early renderings. What if that's a concept?
And if somebody played that in the game, I would see that that person owns the holographic Charizard, aka the Steward of the Garden concept. This is the one that I'm going to get my hands on, though, because there is an element to this. So special editions, from what I've seen, you can see that they have the extra holographic piece here, like right here on the side. And I think in game they come off a little bit of hollow. So you could say this is like a hollow, right? Again, this is the most popular Earthen deck. I lean more towards Earthen as well. But so I want to collect this, and it's only looks like 12 Prime. So again, you get into this like, what's the tokenomics with Prime? Like, why do you want to get exposed to Prime? You can buy cards with Prime. So I'm going to buy this eventually, probably today, because GIF, the more cards, like if you fill your deck out with all cards that you own on the NFT side, you get to earn more Prime. So you can see my wallet balance here, my total earned on the day, or again, I haven't got into ranked queue. So the farther you get up the ladder, the more you're earning. You get like some type of multiple. The parallel avatars. So if I have a Earthen avatar that's being sold as a PFP, and I attach it to my profile, and I play an Earthen deck at the same time, I'm getting to earn more Prime tokens. Do you see where I'm
getting? I do want to, I want to dig more into this because I'm not fully understanding how the earning is working yet, but I did want to pull this up really quickly. It's Echelon Prime, right? This is the one.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, look at that 1 month chart. And if you even zoom out to a year, I guess it's all time because it's been less than a year. Yep. Yeah. Only since March. I mean, you can see it's looking like it's picking up here quite a bit. So yeah, sitting around $3, a little bit more than $3 right now. So you said that's 12 times 3, 36. So 35, $40 for a special edition. How many of those are there?
There's a ton, and you can pick up commons, right? Like, so here's what you would do. No,
sorry. What? How many of those specific Steward special editions exist? Like a special edition of a specific card. Got it. What does that mean scarcity wise?
Yeah, that's a really great point, and I'm not sure I have the exact answer. Hold on, let me get it. So I go to Steward of the Garden special edition. Do you see any supply pieces? That's what's tough about this, because it's a card game. It's not like the typical 10K, here's the supply. There's multiple different commons. I don't know.
But so here, this is my concern / question with this, is that why would you pay for a special edition that's purely cosmetic without having any idea of the scarcity, when that should be at the forefront? Because we've seen what happens with dilution. We saw what Top Shot did, totally fucking up their entire ecosystem. So that's my biggest concern right now, is that like, I'm interested. I think this is fucking dope. I would go snatch up, try and learn it, snatch up a bunch of special editions or whatever, try and get these cards for, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks now while I could. Okay. But if I don't know the supply,
there it is.
That's
right
a big red flag.
So you guys can't see it, but right under the image of the the Steward of the Garden special edition of 1500.
1500.
So again, I'm just making my way into this. I think here's the if you're looking for just the Prime Alpha, if you're not looking to like do the special edition type thing, I don't know if that adds a multiple. You would just buy all the common editions. Like here, I'll go into Steward of the Garden, the common edition, and you'll probably have a shit ton, 60,000. It looks like this is common, and it costs $1.50. So you could make a deck likely of all NFTs. If your whole deck has NFTs in it, then you're earning more Prime. So, and last
okay, yeah, let's dig. Oh wait, we're doing Campfire? No, let's talk about the earning, please, because you started to get into it. I want to understand how you're actually earning Prime.
Yeah, exactly. So I mentioned that having a full deck of NFTs, because all of the all the cards I showed you in the platform 10 minutes ago are not NFTs. They're just the free to play version, right? That you bought with the pack that you could buy on Chain Summer. This parallel avatar is another aspect. So you can see this is probably earthen, my guess, based on the background. So yeah, parallel earthen. You would buy this PFP, and you can see they've increased in price along with the Prime token over that time. Like I'll go here, 7 days, 30 days. And you can see the increase as the on-chain summer went live and where it's at now. But if I want to play an earthen deck and get the most amount of rewards, then I need to be having an avatar attached to my profile. So
okay. So in order to earn Prime, you have to have an avatar. That's what I'm getting here.
It's a multiplier. It's a multiplier. It's not have to. It's a multiplier. So,
but what is it multiplying? So every time you play rewards. A game, you get some kind of reward.
So there's,
or just when you win.
Just when you win. There's a cap on. I believe it's 10 wins a day, or it's either 5 or 10 wins a day. You get Prime rewards. A lot of the multiplier is affected by whether you have an avatar, whether you own an entire NFT deck, and where you are on this leaderboard. So
do you get partial credit for the NFT decks? Like if you have 2 or 3 NFTs in your deck, does that multiply it, or you have to have fully NFT deck?
Just a multiplier. You don't need a full one. You just, if you have 2, you get a little bit more. If you have 4, you get a little bit more.
Okay. So you can max out that multiplier by having your deck fully NFT'd.
Yes. And here's the ranked ladder here. So obviously the higher you get up, like I said, the leaderboard, the more you're earning. So the distribution of Prime tokens for the closed beta period goes to
that 1 game win streak though. Damn, Q. I see you.
Win streaks are another multiplier as well. So if this guy got a 15 game win streak, then he's probably earning a fuck ton of Prime. All right. I don't.
And when you say a fuck ton, like what kind of rewards are you seeing already as you're getting into this, or do you expect to see? Like a day, like let's say that you played a day, you maxed out whatever 5 wins or whatever it is. What kind of rewards are you actually expecting to see from this?
I have no idea. I've seen like some extremely bullish takes, and I've seen some others that are like, hey, settle down. We're still trying to figure this out. You can see the current rank here is silver. It's silver, gold, diamond, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and I don't know what the other ranks are. You can see the history here. Echelon rewards. Let's see if I can get. No, I don't want to go there. A lot of this has like some Ethereum and then some base element to it too, because the Ethereum, the original cards I was telling you about are on Ethereum. The base decks are on base. Okay, I'm quickly here. Here's what I could do to end out this play. I'll show you a basic start to a game.
Yeah, because we really haven't seen gameplay yet. We've seen the user interface. We've seen some of the cards and the art and the loadout, but we still haven't really seen gameplay.
So Prime token sitting around $3 right now. Like Gifdead said, it's up, I think, around.
I'll show it again real quick. I'll show it again real quick. There you go. That's the 1 month chart on Echelon Prime. Up 43% this month. Getting some traction.
All right, give me 1 second. I was trying to get to the audio, but that might add another dynamic because there's like background audio and the characters and the cards make audio as you play them.
Y'all bear with us. This is probably going to crash the stream, but we're trying to do it for you.
Oh,
for y'all out there.
Not wrong.
We're trying. This is if it dies, we did it. We did it for you.
If I have this on a high setting, it might crash the stream for sure. Usually the ranked matches take about 25 seconds on the queue, so that's good to see as well. You're not sitting around for 8 minutes like you were getting into Blankos.
Or 25, 30 minutes to get into League of Legends. It's one of the things that makes Rocket League a superior game is that usually the wait time, the queue to just jump into a game is less than a minute. It's usually like 30 seconds, 20 seconds.
All right, so I'm sandbagging in rookie queue right now, so I might be able to get an easier game and probably a quicker queue here.
That's cool. I just want to see what it looks like. So I don't care the level.
Okay, so Marcolian is by far with the latest patch. Also, there's a really cool aspect. I know I'm fanboying out right now, but the Parallel team actually has a podcast. So they put out a podcast talking about the deck and the upgrades and all this different stuff. All right, so okay, so
everybody cheer him on or flame him in the chat. Either one, choose your side.
Okay, so there's an aspect of this. At the beginning of the game, you get to redraw. You want probably lower facing cards. This is a trade. If you're familiar with trading cards, I'm preaching to the choir.
It's similar to gods for sure. Yeah.
There's another aspect of this where you have to burn cards to get energy. That was one that I was super excited with. So I don't have the what I would have liked to have is a Steward of the Garden here. That would have been a good early play, but I don't. So I'm gonna probably just burn a card, end turn, and now it's their turn.
And so that your energy is that 35 over there? Is that the energy?
That's the amount of cards in the deck. The energy is at 1. Okay. So right now, next turn, I'll have 2.
Got it. And so that number in the top right corner of each card is the amount of energy required to play that card, which is why you want lower energy cards.
Yeah, so I'm getting screwed here. Yeah, I'm getting absolutely dogged here on the early game cards. See, I need to do this is where I find myself in ranked queue is that the cards that those guys have, they understand the game a little bit more. And
how hard is it when you get off to a poor start like this and somebody kind of like gets the initial card or two on you to actually come back? Because that's one of the problems I've found with these turn-based card games is that if you don't start with a strong turn, you're kind of fucked. And then the rest of the game feels like long and annoying.
Yeah, I'm getting absolutely burned on cards. So I have like barely any units. How hard it is depends on the deck that you're playing against, but overall, generally, yes. If you there's different types for different play styles. So Marcolians, for example, the ones I'm playing against now want to take over the game. Now, this is a rookie queue. He's not going to be that good. By this time in the ranked queue, I would already be getting my ass kicked because they would have had like some better cards out, and I would have needed something else to defend myself, if that makes sense.
So I'll just say on my initial take, now seeing the gameplay and how it's all working, the actual game itself, mechanics feels of good. How this is working. Well, I wasn't going to say that, sure, but it's very similar to Gods Unchained. I'll say that much. But I think besides the fact that the aesthetic is very different, it's more like futuristic and more alive, the way that the characters move and shit like that, which is cool. The tokenomics and like the NFT marketplace and the special editions and all of that, I think is way more interesting than what I learned, at least initially, when I was playing Gods Unchained. Like, this to me feels like something where I feel like maybe if I sink some time into it, I might get something out of it or collect some cool NFTs or something like that. With Gods, I never really got into the tokenomics of what was happening with the Immutable X, their cards and shit. This, I could see more interest in the cards, the NFTs, the assets, and like building out different loadouts and trying to make, earn tokens and shit, which that to me is important. It is. I think most Web3 gamers, they do want, if they're going to sink a bunch of time and energy and invest into these things, they want it to have some kind of opportunity to feel like you're getting something back out of it and be rewarded.
The game feels, yes. Yeah. No, you're hitting the nail on the head across the board. The game feels cooler than Gods Unchained. The lore feels more built out. It feels like the each faction feels more built out than what you were seeing with Gods Unchained, at least when I'm getting into it for the first time, right? That was 3 years ago that Gods Unchained was like, at least somewhat built out. All right, let's see what they do here. We don't have to stay here much longer unless you guys want to see me play this out.
No, we got to wrap up the show. I just wanted to see it. You can finish the game off the stream, I feel like.
I could just end.
Like, I just wanted to see it. So thank you, Q, for that. I feel like I got a pretty solid deep dive, and I hope y'all hanging out with us felt like that was interesting as well, because I've been hearing all the hype and seeing a little bit here and there, but I really hadn't learned any of the real details or even seen how a lot of it worked. So thank you for that. And I'm definitely even more interested in figuring out how to get in. So just, I guess my last question is, okay, the easiest way to actually start is that you download an app. It has like a client, like a desktop client, and that's just like the starting point, or is it a web browser?
So the first thing that you'll need to do if you want access to the application is you have to have the card decks. Like you'll get an email about about 5 to 10 minutes later, and you'll be able to access the download from there. So that's essentially how that would look. If you're looking to play the game, you buy the card, and I can drop it right now because the base sale is ongoing for these packs. So let me pull that up for y'all as a way to round this out. And you guys
we should be sponsored. If y'all know anyone at Parallel, hit them up. We are not sponsored. To be clear, this is not a sponsored episode. We're just talking about cool shit that we're excited about.
Yeah, Knox starting to saying long and annoying, so it's like poker then. Listen, if you don't like trading card games, that's the thing. Like, I see a ton of people, because of the little amount of games in this industry, like Carrie Ross was saying that she hated Forge, although she's not in the minority there. If you don't like building tiles and like Farmville type things, you're not going to like the game. And so just because there's a Web3 component, it's not going to make you like it. If you don't like trading card games, Parallels, you're not going to like. You know what I mean? So just keep in mind that piece there. I'm going to show off one last point here so that you guys can start off. And we do have the team actually on a podcast next week, Wednesday. So the team is going to come over and actually sit down. So this is the website. You connect your wallet. Some things you buy on this website connect to your account once you load up the app. So one of those things is going to be beta access. I can continue. I already have beta access, but what that would likely take you to is the Apparition box starter decks, right? And then once you do that, it'll show your wallet as approved and give you the download Parallel piece. So let me see if I can go.
What do you think if you're? I know you're bullish on it, obviously, but I'm going to give you a chance to lean into that and enjoy it. Big bold prediction. If you're being honest with yourself, based on what you're seeing and how some of these other things that you've seen go, what do you think is realistic for a game like this to achieve? Like in a year or 2 or 3, right? Like assuming that it sticks around, it does pretty well. What does that look like to you if this game does actually become a bigger deal and become a legit game that a lot of people like.
I'm looking up the player base for Hearthstone. Hearthstone's probably the largest digital trading card game. I would like to see the stats on Gods Unchained as well at its height. What what do I think would be the legitimate like success is tough without those stats. Like I can't sit up here and say, "Oh, 5,000 players, all that stuff." I think they've done a great job with not having some like extractive or I want to make sure I get my word right. Like not Ponzi like tokenomics. Like that's what I'm looking at when I'm playing this game. The game's smooth. The token doesn't seem to be like widely distributed where people are saying, I'm paying my rent with Prime token. Like, come on in. So what I think this looks like from a successful point of view, I can't answer on a user base front. All I can say is in my first experience with this game, I'm enjoying both the collecting of the cards and I think you mentioned the tokenomics. I think they're good and the gameplay. Like Prodigy was in here earlier saying, stop talking about tokens, stop talking about NFTs, interoperability. Just give me a good game. The game feels good. The factions feel well thought out.
All right, there you go. Nifty Q, bullish on Parallel. You're selling me on it too. So
what were you expecting me to say, or like what answer did you want there? Because
no,
it's tough to say.
There's no wait. There's no whoa. Hey, whoa. There's no yes or no or right or wrong. I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not
anything.
saying that in a negative.
I just wanted to get I just wanted to get your take of like in your sort of ideal scenario of this thing becoming big. Do you imagine that you see the top NFTs selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars in a couple of years, and there's maybe 50,000 daily active users potentially? Like I don't know. Obviously it's speculation, so it wasn't meant to be leading in any way. I was just curious what you actually think a game like this could possibly achieve. And yeah, I get you. Maybe we come back to that when you've looked at some of those other data points to contextualize it.
So
yeah,
30-day
it wasn't
players,
supposed to be a gotcha.
No, I got you. 30-day players for Hearthstone is going to be 5.5 million players there. Obviously, that would be a fucking gigantic success. The NFT component for this is so interesting. I keep going back to this Willmatic guy. He's shown to be, really steeped in the NFT open edition scene. He, and generative. He bought the squiggles. He sold the squiggles for the Opepen, and he's also interested in the collection of these parallel trading cards. So, do I think that these parallel trading cards, the editions that we were talking about, are going to be selling for thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars? I think they already are. I think the one edition ones, the 101s, what they're calling, I believe, the parallel alpha cards, are selling for like 6 figures and 7 figures at this point. Not 7 figures, 6 figures. 5 and 6 figures, I should say. So I think it's already found some success. And I'm just trying to give y'all little inklings without financial advice, of course. But wow,
nothing here's financial advice.
I did not expect to go down the parallel rabbit hole here for y'all.
Why not?
Hopefully y'all enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. So yeah. Hey, shout out to everybody hanging out with us here on this last show of the week. It is #ThirstTrap Thursday. At least it was. We we got through. We had a great week with y'all as always. Couldn't do it without y'all making this chat absolutely heckin' lit. If you haven't already smashed the like, please do so. We'd really appreciate it. Algorithms be algoing, and it makes a big difference to help get this out to a few more people. And that's it. I'll say our vibe, our tribe. Yes, we know Marty's over here fudding. I already pulled that one up. You didn't have to give it more.
That's literally the thesis that brought me into this industry is ownership, or at least the understanding ownership in games, like in the digital environment. So it's just, I'm not going to get too far into it. Hey, we went down a gaming rabbit hole. Legends of Mara, Rec League, the Heavy Metal Forge, Parallel, obviously. Meme token is coming for captains. Captains are pumping as well. Artifact put out a sneaker IRL. I guess they're shipping out products now. So digital physical Nike Artifact sneakers are on their way to holders.
Still trying to make digiphysical work.
Yeah, I am. Sam Spratt chose winners for the Monument game. There's a ton of others, but to be fair, the major news of the day was that we're back, baby. We are seeing some green price movement. Zoom out, and it looks like a little centimeter, just the smallest of ever bounces. But what we're seeing here is just some positive momentum for the first time in what feels like a long time in the broader sectors as well as Web3 gaming. But yeah, super stoked, man. I'm going to try to stream Parallel tomorrow in place of NFT Live, and Gifdead's going to try to survive his massive spasms.
Sneezing. Yeah.
But
we are so back. Yeah, we are so back. I think that's the right way to say it. But we will be back with more NFT Live and GM Web3 next week, fam. That's all I got. Our vibe, our try. Oh, let's drop that link one more time. If you want to join an awesome combo with Eric Calderon, Snowfro, Jordan Weil, myself, Shir Lazar, Ralph Quintero, NFT Go, a bunch of awesome people, we're going to be jumping into a space over on the BirdX app here in just a couple hours. I get to participate and be on stage with Snowfro. So I don't know. I'm excited. Come hang out with us over there.
Have you retweeted it yet?
Here you go. I got you, bud.
I'm looking on your profile
right here.
It's the best kept secret.
I put it in the chat, and I can share it right here. This is it. This is the one, the alpha with timepieces today at 2 p.m. PST. That's in just about 2 hours. If y'all want to come hang out, awesome people on this stage, and Snowfro's gonna join. So I'm stoked. I'm excited for it.
Prodigy saying Q is huffing that copium hard today. I don't know if it's copium, hopium, or what it is, but I need more of it. I'll sniff that stuff up all day. Super excited to have y'all again. I'm going to be streaming that tomorrow. So parallel stream tomorrow. You guys have been awesome all week. NFT Live. Biggie Poppins, I want to give a big shout out to. Couldn't be here today, but has been here all week, dropping the art alpha, dropping the squiggle alpha. You guys have been awesome. Let me go give a quick rundown. Marty McFly talking about sweaters. I got to get out of here before I do crummy squiggle sweater. But Quantum Variant, Prodigy, Felipe, Squash Man, Nox Darkness, Decryptolorian. Who else was in here today? DP, of course, and Fury. Thank you guys, man. It's awesome covering this space and having y'all be here. And make sure you guys have a good weekend. Go touch some grass. OVOT.